If we just go off of what Arlen said and he killed himself, or what Garam said from the story and he killed himself, what would get him there? I don't know. There's way too many gaps to fill in. It's not even like a valid question to ask. I'm just thinking. It's the ultimate question. If V and Jahad, or let's just, for hypothetically speaking, say that they were roughly equal. So it was 1A, 1B. One wasn't stronger than the other. They were relatively equal. We know that the Trailblazers and people that interacted with them liked him more. We know that. Like, that's been stated. They liked him more than Jahad. V won the girl. He got Arlen. So there's that. I would like to know, and I would like to know before I even say that, if they were so equal, but it feels like anytime we hear anyone talk about the past, V was always held in a higher regard than Jahad. So how do we end up with Jahad being king? That's why I'm like, I don't think this is where I'm coming in, and the circumstances of how they came into the tower I think matter. The crest and Jahad's family lineage I think matters. I think that plays into it. But also, just along the lines of this, maybe this is just more so of a ambitions. This is why I'm thinking there could be entities way above us, not floor wise, power wise, influence wise, that are waging some sort of war or control of the tower. Because why pick Jahad if V clearly had everything? If they both were equal strength, why choose Jahad to be king and not pick V? When it's clear, but it's just like at this point it would be V never wanted. It's either V never wanted to be king, and we know V still wanted to climb, and maybe Jahad didn't. I'm just trying to figure out like how Jahad would have ended up with all this power if he didn't have the influence. That's the thing. How do conversations go in the group? How do we make decisions if Jahad's supposed to be this one vying for power, but it's clear that there's someone else that everybody would rather listen to? Maybe I'm reaching so far with that, but it's just it's one of those things. If we learn how they got into the tower, I think it might clue us into some more information. How Redacted and Bomb came into the tower told us a lot about their characters, even though we didn't have the context. Like if you were to go back and read like the first chapter and just watch how they came into the tower, it's just like interesting how it's just like it's a tiny microcosm of what their relationship is. And I think if we find out or get to see the moments that they came into the tower, I think it would let us know information about them, and it would I think it might clear a little bit of this up. Yeah, that's a good thing to point to. Just because they liked V more doesn't mean they didn't like or respect Jahad. But I think that has to be stated, yes. But when there isn't a clear who is number one, it always leads to confusion, because that's when you get into a serious situation. If you have a ton of respect for a lot of people, but you respect this guy more, if these two come to opposing opinions, who are you going to listen to? And I think what ended up happening showed us the Trailblazers chose V. The Trailblazers chose V. So when it came down to it, and granted, they still want the climbing stuff anyways. So it's like, which one do you? And I feel like this. It's like they wanted to keep climbing, but I don't think, because self preservation is a hell of a thing. If Jahad was clear and cut the strongest, and V couldn't beat him, I don't think they would choose V. Right? I don't think they would. They clearly, they loved V more than they feared Jahad. I think I would go as far as to say that. That's why they chose V. Even in this unwinnable situation with him proclaiming to be king, he had an army. All these other family heads might be standing on his side, we don't know. But they looked at him and said, "We will go with you." So it's like that. It's always like, if there is no clear cut number one, people will always be split whenever the two strongest have differing opinions, because some will think he's right and some will think he's right, and then the line in the sand will be drawn. Whoever wins wins. So it's one of those things where it's a toughie, but V was that guy. He was that guy. It was more than just charisma. More than just charisma. Which leads me to believe, why would he, quote unquote, kill himself? Even in a situation like this, they built their own organization. Like, why would he kill himself? That's what I'm not. I don't know next to nothing about V. What, the pressure from Jihad's army was too much? Why? I feel like, would V just be like, okay, Arlen, they're gonna just accept you back? Like, if him and Arlen both consciously made the decision that they wanted to keep climbing, why would he kill himself and tell her to go back and then turn her back on wanting to continue climbing and live some unfulfilled life? That's not, it doesn't register to me. It just doesn't, unless he was just that disillusioned. I don't know. It's like, maybe after he was like that disillusioned, that he was just that down on everything, that he just chose to. I don't know. But even after the end of that, they had a whole floor that worshipped her. A whole floor worshipped her. So I don't know.